Let me guess your favorite fragrance. And you got that bomb. I'm trying that in nature. No disrespect,
hi
baby.
everybody.
Just trying to make you smile. Try to keep my spirits up. That's why I lace it down. Try to keep your spirits up. Little vodka, whatever. Took it forever to get dressed. I acknowledge your effort. So I clap for her. She deserves an applause. Shawty working so hard. She deserves that baton. Shawty, where your baton? Racing through my mind like she heard that. I got that word. I heard that she been on strike. Care to tell? I read your mind. She been on them dollars first. Caramel, macchiatos when Shawty get into work. I can be your boyfriend, be your nigga, or a friend with perks. I'm just trying to work that. They just trying to work your nerves. I'm just trying to read your mind. I'm just trying to feed you mine. I'm just trying to give you life. They just trying to leave you blind. Fantasy. I feel it when you dance with me. It's feeling like
DJ Hard Hitter, the hottest DJ in the South, Beijing.
Come on in, folks.
Talking about it.
Welcome. Come on in. It's the More About Something podcast.
Hey, y'all.
We just getting adjusted, waiting on some of y'all to join us.
Can I blow up on your mind?
Tonight
This
is
is not no
gonna be
Sandra
super,
Bullock,
super
but your potion number 9. Navigating through her eyes.
And we gonna get
Destination
deep,
to her
so
thighs.
y'all
And I
come
hate
on.
to tell you so much, but to stay with too
Hi,
much pride.
everybody say
And we way too young to know love. Maybe not, but we don't need no
Yes,
rush. Don't believe in love at first sight. Don't believe in love at first sight. Can I be with you just one night? I can wear you out inside. I can tell you like persistence, but I make you come and try. I just know you one night. Can't decide if I can right. Easy baby, my tight, but that love flow just ain't right. I ain't thinking I ain't right. Can't decide, but I can't fight. Easy baby, you the bomb and all that. Every damn divided out and mine. Can I speak up? Was it peace out? Can we eat lunch? Can we take shots with your flavor? Flat drinks we call A cups. I just think I need one night. It's like you want the best.
Trying to make sure y'all can see us.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello.
This is the More About Something podcast, and we have a special day for y'all planned. I'm Jay Terry, or Tashi, whichever y'all prefer to call me, as I tell you every week. I am the owner of Perfectly Brown LLC, and I'm also a co-host of the More About Something podcast.
Woo! Yes.
And between me, I have Miss Penny here. Miss Penny, tell the people who you are.
I am Latricia Penny, and I am a counselor and life coach, and my business is called Root of the Matter. And I am also an author of 2 books.
They're really good too.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Penny. Y'all, we got some good stuff for y'all today. Well, tonight. I'm Neva. Y'all already know.
It's your girl.
It's your girl. No, seriously. I'm the founder of My Path to Peace. I'm a published author, certified life coach. I specialize in like grief recovery. So y'all already got my Facebook info, Neva Branch. Add me on Instagram, Snapchat, My Path to Peace 1. Website is www.mypathtopeace.com. So yes, y'all come on in. Hi everybody.
Hey, hey, hey. All right, so with our introductions over, we have Neva's positive word of today.
Yes, so y'all know in the beginning we started reading out of the Acts of Faith book. We started reading out of this book. And we don't always read out of it. Sometimes we pick passages or quotes from different stuff, or I'll just kind of freestyle and just make up an affirmation or a positive, quote. And today I wanted to go back to this book because the affirmation for October 4th is so powerful, and you just got to let it hit you here and go deep. So I'll read the quote right quick. It says, in order to cooperate with life, you must learn how to forgive, how to pray, how to give, how to receive, how to adjust, seeking nothing, giving everything, loving all people, trusting God, and living in each moment fully. And it says, you may not have all the money you want. You may not live in a fancy house or drive expensive cars. Maybe you haven't found the right man or woman. You may have a few extra pounds on your thighs. This does not mean life is over. Actually, it may not have begun. What we must do is live from the inside so the outside will become more fun.
Yes.
Give what you have in order to get what you need. Take what you get with an open heart. Forgive all people for what you believe they have done. Begin each day with a prayer of gratitude. Love all people for who they are. Possess no things or persons. Speak only of the things that you want. Life is willing to cooperate with you, but you must know where to start. And the affirmation that she gives is, when I cooperate with life, the forces of life cooperate with me. And really quickly, I wanted to elaborate on it because I've been talking to a lot of people that I'm close with about this. And I've been talking to a lot of people about it. And it seems like we are all in a season of shifting, of things getting better, of things starting to manifest. We're healing internally and externally. Right. So, and I think that started when we stopped trying to control so much of the journey and just started to breathe. Like, once we started to breathe and just tell ourselves, like, everything is going to be fine, you got this, especially after the things that we've survived in my little crew. So I just feel like you have to kind of just breathe, trust the process, enjoy the journey. Hold on one second, y'all. Enjoy the journey and just let everything be as it should be. So yeah, hi Keita. Hi everybody, y'all come on in. We just finished up with the affirmation / quote of the day. Now we're going to move on to our word of the day, and our goal for the word of the day is to try to use it at least one time while we're speaking. So either the co-host or the host or the guest, or y'all can even use it. So word of the day, who wants to say it?
Who wants to bereaved.
Bereaved. Is that what you said?
Bereaved.
I've never heard that word. Have y'all heard that word?
I have never heard that word.
BEREFT is deprived of or lacking something, especially a non-material asset.
Ooh, where'd you find that, honey?
It's from the app called Word of the Day.
Oh, wow. Have y'all heard that word before? Have any of y'all heard that word before?
And bereft is an adjective. So to use it in a sentence, it says, so they took the thing you love most and you're never going to get it back. You're going beyond just plain grief-stricken, you're bereaved. So it's an extension of bereavement.
Wow. Ooh, that was kind of deep. It's bereaved, or BEREFT. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right or not.
Yep.
But it's basically, it's kind of like bereavement, or the word bereave with the V in it. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Wow.
Bereft.
Okay.
They're going to check us.
Yeah. Y'all, why y'all?
Just in case you didn't hear it.
Oh, wow.
Bereft.
So we were pronouncing it wrong. Oh, God.
Bereft.
Excuse us, y'all. We just got off work. We tired.
Okay. It's been a long day. I went to the gym. But, okay. So today is going to be a heavy day, but it's also going to be an empowering day. And we can use bereft because people go through things and they have things taken from them and they're deprived or lacking of something. So today we're talking about healing. So healing is internal. So that's something you have to really dig deep and want to do. So for our healing episode, we have Miss Penny and we also have ourselves, and we have Lauren coming on a little later. So to start off, we're going to ask, what does healing look like?
Healing is a process. So what does it look like? To me, top of my head almost boogers of snot and being in the corner every now and again.
Yeah, that's what it looked like though. She's right. It's not cute.
Ain't nothing about it sexy. It's not one of those things that you could just like kind of go in there. It's like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna do healing right now, and then I'll go have some tea. That's really not usually what healing is about. It's really about taking the time to get in those spaces that feel really uncomfortable to you, that literally usually hurt like hell, basically, you know, because that's usually, it's usually the reason why you do not want to actually pursue healing.
You understand it.
Is because
Yeah.
it doesn't feel good. But the beauty of it, like I tell everybody, is like usually once you go through the process, what you feel like afterward is so much better.
I'm telling you,
It's like you are like
Yes.
you lose weight usually, you know, because all of that stuff is a barrier. And it tends to, like, our bodies are so magnificently made that they try to protect us to no end with everything.
Right.
And so even on an emotional
hard.
level, when you hold so much in, your body tries to protect you and hold on to fat too, so you have cushion.
Ooh.
And so you feel, you know, like taken care of.
Yeah.
And so your body does that for you when you need to heal. And so what you'll notice is after you start your actual healing process, you don't necessarily even have to go to the gym, but you'll notice that you're losing weight, your face is
Right.
clearing
Lighter.
and everything else, because your body now knows that you're emotionally in a space to have it, and so
Yeah.
you don't need the extra weight. And so but like literally it is one of those things that does not, you know, you're not about to dress up to do it. You know,
You're not. It's like going to a funeral every day. It's like
Yeah.
I talked about this with one of my sisters last night. I don't know if she's watching or not, but we talked about how one year we was in such a horrible space, like spiritually, mentally, that we were like going to bed praying like, man, I don't want to do this tomorrow. Just take me now. And the next day we would wake up like, damn, I'm still here. Like, man, I'm ready to go. And to be in that space, we laughed about it. But after I started thinking about it, like, wow, I was really in a messed up space.
And then you gotta look at, why do I feel this way?
Right. You have to start checking that stuff. Definitely. Not a cute process.
And I think sometimes like everything has changed over time. So more people are depressed because we're not having as much contact with people, because we are
Right.
doing all this electronic stuff.
That's
And
true.
just human touch is not the same.
That's true.
How we treat each other is not the same. You know, it's easy for us to kind of be detached and not, you know, really care about people's feelings and
that's-
everything else, because
yeah.
everybody always trying to be whatever cold-hearted or whatever the new
Yeah.
thing is right now. Like I'm good, like
Right,
you
right,
good.
right.
You know, like everybody's so
Yeah.
like hostile, just even on
I agree.
basic stuff.
I agree.
The funny thing is,
I
those
agree.
people who are like that are people who haven't healed,
Yeah.
and that's their coping mechanism.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely.
So they don't
believe
get
that.
attached to people.
So yeah, so some of those things usually happen.
Hey y'all!
Hi,
We
that's
have
fine.
special guests coming into the
They're
room
not.
right now.
I don't know if they're coming on camera, but we have. Oh, okay, that's okay.
That's Naima.
Anyway, y'all hear my baby in the back. But we talking about healing for those of you who are just joining in. And Miss Penny was just sharing with us that healing is not a cute process. It's not a cute process. So thank you for just opening that door, because that's going to change our conversation, because people like to make it seem like it's something cute. Oh, I'm blowing up, this and that.
Yeah.
But you don't talk about the ugly side of
Right.
it.
And it's we all have that shadow part. We all have that part that's not so cute that we try to act like doesn't exist.
Right.
But that's normal. Like, we need to embrace all of our parts, because we want to always show, like I always say, they show the A side, but nobody want to show the B
The
side.
B side, they don't. They
Right.
don't.
And so when you see people, it's always the good shots. It's always
Yeah.
the this. It's always the, oh yeah, I'm
You
doing
don't see
good.
nobody in their mess, really.
Right.
Yeah, not so much, or either they're sometimes in denial, or we're kind of taught sometimes
Yeah.
not to do that. And even with me, because I was at one time in a space where I was really trying to affirm everything and be very, very positive, but it wasn't really positive in my life at the time. And so there's this double-edged thing where you want to speak things into existence, but you have to honor your feelings at the same time.
yes.
You know, so
Did y'all
it's like,
catch that?
yeah, so
Oh.
yeah, just really being in that space to honor, like, okay, so today is one of them straight up ugly morning. I got my hat on and I'm just about to sit here and chill and
And I'm
rock.
gonna be okay with it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna just do this and
I'm
be
not gonna
alright.
resist
It's
it.
self-soothe. You
Yeah, I'm not gonna
self-soothe
resist it.
sometimes.
Yes.
I'm not gonna resist it. I'm gonna be okay with it. And so, with that being said, like, you said something to me when I used to come to you for counseling. You said something to me one time. You said you can go to that place. Like, it's safe to go to that place that don't feel good. It's okay to go there, but don't stay stuck in it. I remember you telling me that. I'll never forget you telling me that. And I kept that in the back of my mind as I went through my grief journey and just healing and all of that. I always remember what you told me about go there. Like, it's safe. Go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Go to those deep parts. Go to that little girl. Go to, these different parts. And you told me not to stay stuck there. So I always try to keep that in the back of my mind as I go through my journey. It's okay to go there, but don't drown in it. Don't drown in that.
And see what you're supposed to get from it.
Yeah.
You know, because there's always rich things to get from those spaces.
Right.
You know, like they're going to lead to your healing.
It's still recording over there.
Yeah. So they're going to lead to you feeling better. They're going to lead to everything kind of clearing up in your life. They're going to lead to you feeling lighter and being, you know, more in a good mood where you can actually speak to people when you see.
Yeah. Just everything about you looks and feels and sounds different. And people see that. People see that shift and then they want to know, like, what did you do?
Right.
But if I tell you what I did, are you going to be okay with doing that deep healing work? Because it's scary.
I think a lot of people are scared to go to counseling and therapy, like, especially in our community, like, nothing's wrong with it. You have to get to that point where you're tired of carrying on that baggage and being that person who's still hurt and unwilling to heal. Like, a lot of people don't want to learn the lesson behind what happened.
Right.
And they try to avoid it or they get combative about it. Like, you really have to be honest with yourself sometimes to look like, I got some toxic ways, but where do my toxic ways come from? And how can I fix those toxic ways?
Definitely. Therapy is definitely a stigma in the African American. It absolutely is. And that's a good point. So
And then sometimes, because I think we've been raised just in our community more so, because we are naturally spiritual. That's the thing. Like if you ain't prayed and it didn't work, either you being punished or something else. But you need to just, and it's not true at all. And I know, and I ain't gonna say I know the Bible, but somewhere say seek counsel. And they used to seek a whole bunch of people in the Bible.
Yeah, they did. They did.
It's like, hey, I had a dream. Who I go see?
Definitely.
You know, and so some of the things that work for us culturally, we've kind of shied away from because now they're considered, oh my gosh, you don't want to do that because something wrong with that, and that's not of God. Everything to me of light and of healing is of God.
Absolutely.
You know, period.
If it brings you to a better space.
If it brings you to a better place, you know, like, why start tripping on it now? You know, so.
And I feel like sometimes, like, what we use spiritually for us, like the sage and then the crystals, like, people look at us like we're doing witchcraft.
They
and
do.
I'm like,
okay, so technically, if you want to go historically, that's what they started calling it. So if you want to use the European term, that's what it would be considered, but that's not what it is. It was usually all of the sages and the people of wisdom. They used to do those things. So it was the people who took care of the village.
It worked for them.
Yeah, it was the ones that you came to, like, okay, this is not working, this is not, okay, here's this salve and here's this tea. It was those people. And so they gave them that term to be negative, so you have a negative connotation, so we won't heal ourselves anymore.
Right.
You know, and
you rely on modern medicine that does not work.
All 29,000 side effects, and you're gonna be like,
yeah, you like. Have you ever listened to one of the commercials? May cause death, may cause blindness,
and they be happy talking about it too. They be happy talking about it, like, oh, this gonna help you with this, but it's gonna make you want to kill yourself. It's gonna make you like
no big
do all kind of crazy.
You
stuff,
might jump off a bridge tomorrow.
Yeah,
and I do want to say that I'm not knocking it for people who need it. Because sometimes people need that bridge in order for them to be, to be in that space. So I don't want people to think like, oh, well, you know, like if you're in such a space where you need medication to help you get over the hump, by all means take it.
Absolutely.
You know, because sometimes we do need something to help us get over the hump. If we done been like in basically hell for like 20 years, you may need a little push, you know, a little assistance to help you get out of that. So if you need it, go ahead and take it, but it doesn't have to be your end all be all. And then you don't need to just take medication and act like you ain't got a whole bunch of stuff, because some people do that, like, oh, I've been on medicine. Well, what else you did? You know, you haven't done anything else to facilitate healing, and that's something that you're doing the mass stuff as opposed to actually deal with what's going on at the core.
Absolutely.
Like, I think people just avoid that because, like you said, they don't want to go through the ugly. Like, they're scared of going to that dark place. And hell, sometimes you got to ugly cry through it.
Yeah, you do.
I had some really award-winning cries, I think. Yes, I'm like, ooh, that was like good ugly cry. Like, that was really worth something right there.
Right.
Yes.
Like, even me and Neva, we've had times when we both were crying at the same time, didn't know it, so we called the other one.
Oh, yes. That always happens. Like, it's like we be going through the same season at the same
Yeah.
time, and it's kind of weird, but we were vulnerable enough to share that with each other. Like
Yeah.
most people, they're not gonna let nobody know, like, girl, I just had a breakdown yesterday. I'm like not in a good space right now. Because you don't want to be seen as weak, or you don't want people to think like you can't handle your life or you can't
Right.
bounce back. So it's hard going to that vulnerable space too, to tell your sister, girl, I'm struggling today.
And I think society puts so much on us to be strong.
And perfect.
That we don't know that we can be weak. Like you can have weak moments. It's okay to be in that weak moment. Like you don't have to be strong all the time. Like you ain't gotta be nobody Superman, Superwoman.
Absolutely
like
not.
you have the right to feel.
I wouldn't even call it weak though.
Yeah, that's
Like
what I
we
was gonna
call
say.
it that because
Human.
that's just what
What
Society
yeah.
call it.
Yeah,
But it don't even have
takes,
to be
To
weak,
me,
though.
it takes a superhero to go in those spaces.
Yes, it do.
Right.
You know, it takes you really
Yes.
tapping into that strength of who you are to go in those spaces.
Mhm.
And I think like we've been told that that's a weak place. But as I sometimes tell people, like you can be in those spaces, but if somebody try you in that moment, I think the other part of you will come up.
Right.
Yeah, then you might get snapped on. Like
You know. So it's like, so what's the idea of what's strong and what's this, or is that a physical thing? Is it an emotional thing? Like, what are you really getting at when you
Right.
say weak or strong? You're more in touch and you're more honest. Because the other thing is like half of us live at one time or another, or continue to live in the deception, trying to act like everything is okay.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the lie, that everything is okay,
Right.
as opposed to, okay, no, like you said, I'm having a breakdown today. This has not been a good day, or I done made some choices and decisions, and they're coming home to roost.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, you know,
Right.
and so let me go ahead and process what that's gonna look
that was
like.
a word right there.
You know,
Yeah.
so and being okay with it, because we all make mistakes. Like it's okay to make mistakes.
And don't condemn others for making mistakes.
Oh,
Right.
please don't.
That's right.
Yeah, because we all have been somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, or I think sometimes people forget. I think when I was coming, I think the older people used to forget where they've been, because they all had, you know, if you sit somewhere, you can hear them stories, but then they want to act a certain way with you.
Right.
It's like they don't tell like the family
They
history
don't
of what
tell the whole-
happened.
don't tell
Yeah.
the whole
We gotta
story.
kind of figure it out like on accident, because one of our cousins might have been mad at us and said like, "Oh, that's why you
Adopted.
whatever." Yeah. That actually, well, that didn't happen. It didn't happen like that, but something similar kind of happened. But that's just crazy how the elders, and some of them do now. Some of them will talk, but a lot of them, they don't want to talk about that stuff. And at first, I used to get upset about it. But now that I think about it, like, who really want to go to that place?
Yeah.
Like, they can kind of give you, like, you kind of know, like, okay, yeah, they've been through some stuff. And that's why they act this way. And that's why I try to have empathy for people that I once looked at them sideways. But it's like, how do we get them to open up? Like, do they do it once they see us, like, kind of thriving? Or how do you start that conversation with them once you're older?
I think once they get to a certain age is what I've personally noticed. When people get to a certain age, they're not as guarded. And I think, at least for a lot of our elders, they were held to a whole lot of shame around stuff. And so that made things a little bit different, because it's like they carry so much shame about some of their choices, as opposed to like almost everybody in the family that made the same choice and
Right.
really tripping about it. But
Yeah.
they carry so much, and they really, really, like, it kills them almost to talk about this stuff, because they're so feeling of shame. You know, they're so
Yeah.
full of it. But I think after they get a certain age, some of them get a little bit more laid back and, you know, like, okay, more receptive to talking. Or, you know, if you get people by themselves, I think that's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, if you go visit people when they're like by themselves, and you, hey, so who did you really love? You
Right.
know, you know, and have those kind of
Have those
conversations.
conversations.
Yeah, but the spark, them disclosing. I don't think they're gonna do it by themselves. So.
Now, is healing a one-time thing, or that's a constant thing?
As long as you have breath.
You're gonna be healing. I already know what you're about to say.
I just feel like it's an ongoing process, because
Right.
there's so, you know, we are the onion, and there are so many different layers, and it's like once you think you got it, then you be like, yeah, I got this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I done
Yeah,
did this,
something
I done
happened.
ugly cried, I done did this.
And then, boom,
and
get knocked upside the head.
And then wig
Knocked
fall
up,
off.
and the wig falls.
Or
Girl.
sideways like that.
Like, damn, that's
The
gonna
wig
knock me
comes
upside
off.
my ahead.
Life done knocked me out real quick.
Yes.
But this time I'm getting up though, and I can operate better this time. Like, I'm being healed and like healing, that don't mean that everything is magically cured.
Right.
That don't mean that the problems stop. It just means you know how to better manage them.
Mhm.
Like, the more you heal, when stuff start popping up, you be like, oh, I got something for that. It's kind of like how video games are. Like, you got to fight the big villain, but then the little person always got like all these weapons and tricks and stuff that they can do. That's kind of how it is with life. So,
And you won't feel bereft.
right. Yay! We got the word of the day. Yes.
So,
Yes.
how important is it to heal before entering into a relationship or as a parent? How important is it to heal?
I think the beauty of being in all relations is that they are the opportunities for you to heal.
Mm.
You know, because sometimes you don't know what needs to be healed until you're in relation with someone else. That they usually trigger all of the stuff that needs to be healed.
Yeah, we talked about that in my session too.
The ghetto.
You know, but how would you know where you're at unless you
Right.
have a wonderful relationship with somebody that you love? You know, because they're going to stretch you in certain places, whether it be a child or whether it be a partner. Like, they're going to stretch you in all of those places, and so you get that opportunity for healing because of that.
Right.
You know.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, you know, I still think that it's good to do some individual stuff, but like, you're going to work on some stuff as soon as you decide, oh, I'm going to be in love, or oh, I'm going to be a parent, because those are those things that stretch you. You know, because you may think you got it together, or you know, it seems like, oh, you know, I'm gonna do this better than my parents, and the next thing you know, you like, dang, did I sound just
Like, damn, did I just do what I just saw them do?
Yes.
And you rethink a whole bunch of plans, like,
Right.
okay, so I thought I was gonna do this, and then, but everything is still okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, we get so hard on ourselves about
Trying
life.
to win.
And trying to be like, okay, I want to be the perfect parent. You're gonna be perfectly you,
right, and
that's about it. You know,
I get it now. I get it now.
And your perfectly you is usually what everybody needs. Like, that's what you need in your relationship. They need you to be perfectly you, so they can be perfectly them.
That's right.
And your child needs you to be you, you know, so that they can figure out some stuff. You know,
Right.
they're gonna need how to be them. You know, like how, you know, they're gonna make some changes, or I don't like that you did. I mean, we all got that stuff about, we got the list. At least I know I got the list. I got the list of, you know, things that I felt like my father could have done better.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, everybody got to, I think
Yeah.
everybody pretty much.
But straight up in gratitude.
Yeah.
Straight up
Yeah.
in gratitude, because I wouldn't, you know, like, had he not been exactly who he was, I wouldn't be who I am.
Absolutely. That's good.
Well, y'all, we just had Lauren come in. Lauren, you want to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Hey, Lauren.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, girl.
Come on in.
All right. Yep, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Go ahead. Tell the rest of yourself.
Tell us, like, what you do. Tell us your name, what you do,
Where you from?
where you from.
What's your passion?
Yeah.
I'm Lauren. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. Some of my passions are teaching, which I currently teach high school English. I love reading and writing. I just finished writing my second play, which would be in December, called Healing for Christmas.
I can't wait.
And my current future goal, which I'm going to be starting on by the end of this year or next year, is preparing for a doctoral program, because I'm thinking of pursuing some sort of counseling or something of the like in my future. I was going to pursue studies, but as I've gotten older, I've realized that my passion lies elsewhere. So I'm going to be pursuing some.
Yeah. Just everything about you looks. Yes. Thank you, Lauren, for sharing who you are. You fit in perfectly with today's episode, because we're talking about healing, and we actually have a counselor as our other guest today. And we've kind of just been talking about how the healing process looks. Like, how does it feel? How does it look? And Miss Penny was saying that it's not a cute process. It's an ugly process. and we were just kind of going deeper into what it looks like. So, which question are we on? So
we've been kind of all over.
Yeah, we've kind of been all over the place with it, but just kind of share with us like what you think. What is your definition of healing? What does it look like? Kind of, if you want to share, how has your journey been? And you don't have to go really deep if you don't want to, but just let us know, like, how do you feel about healing? Like, what is that to you?
Okay, well, first I'll say when it comes to healing, nobody's healing looks the same.
Right.
Nothing about it will be similar to anyone else's, because what I may go through to sort of deal with what I'm going through may be different than what someone else goes through or how they deal.
Right.
So you can't really say that I must not be healing because it doesn't look like your process, because all of our processes are different. One thing that I've learned personally about healing is that grief and that process for me personally, it doesn't really go away. I just learned coping mechanisms. One of the things I'll say that I've learned to do is release when I need to release.
Yeah.
It's so easy to hold on to that feeling, that pain, that hurt. And when I say that, I don't mean just from someone passing away. I mean from anything that hurt you.
Right.
It's very easy to hold on to that and live your life with it. And every morning you wake up and it greets you. But I've learned that if I don't release it and in certain intervals in my life, then honestly, it's killing me slowly.
Oh.
So when I need to cry, I cry. When I need to write, I write. When I need to pray, I pray. When I need to talk to someone, I talk to someone. And this is how I cope with it. This is how I turn around and smile again after, my sister's passing or my grandmother's passing. This is how I turn around and do something fun again after crying for weeks on end.
Yes.
So the process is not the same for everyone, but I definitely recommend, like, for anyone who's looking to heal from something they're dealing with or they've gone through, is to definitely find out which type of outlet they can use to help them to get out some of that pain. Like, I draw, I write, I read, I take time alone, go as far out and come back. It's just a process, and it's different for everyone. So my best advice would be find out whatever outlet works for the person going through the struggle, and then use those outlets to their advantage and talk to someone. I mean, for me personally, it's not always easy to talk to someone, but I find it's very, very necessary.
Yeah.
Because you're not being judged. Everyone goes through grief at some point in time, but it's just better when you can talk to someone and outwardly express your inward emotions.
Yes, I agree 100%. And you basically summed up what our conversation has been thus far, because we talked about how healing is different for everybody. We talked about how it doesn't stop. Like, you don't just heal and then everything stops and you're problem free, like you don't have any more problems. Exactly. It's an ongoing process. So I'm so glad you mentioned that you have to find an outlet, because you know it's going to be a forever thing, and it don't have to be a ugly for everything either. So you know you're going to be healing forever. Right.
Yeah.
That's what this whole conversation is about. Like,
make it a burden.
Yes. Definitely. So yes, that is Lauren, y'all. For y'all that's just joining, that is our other guest, and she was just talking about how what helps her through her healing journey and how it doesn't look the same for everybody. And she is actually pursuing counseling right now. So this woman has to know a little something about it. So please just come on in if y'all see us on y'all's timeline. Come on in.
And she did a bomb workshop.
Yes, girl, you didn't even talk about your workshops.
Oh, Heal. Okay, so the workshop is called Heal, just straight up just Heal. And it's called Healing Mirror Me is like the subtitle for it.
Healing Mirror Me?
You take Healing Mirror Me.
Okay.
And what you do, you take a mirror and you look at it, but you look at yourself in it. And while you're looking at yourself, you're not looking for anything in particular negative or positive for that matter. You're just looking at your inward self, beyond your beauty, beyond what you look like, beyond what you feel. You're looking at your inward self, and you're thinking about all those positive and negative things that come along with grief. And then the question that's typically asked is, how do you view yourself in this positive or negative light? And sometimes when you really look deep in yourself, beyond looking at your makeup, your lipstick, your hair, we sometimes look in the mirror and we don't like what we see, even though we dress it up every day.
Yes,
Sometimes we look in the mirror and we love what we see outwardly to our friends, but on the inside, we're like dying and change something about us. So, Healing Mirror Me is a workshop that allows you to look deep within yourself and to also learn to love and cope with whatever has happened to you in the past. Because it could be a loss of a relationship, a loss of a job, a loss of maybe a home. Loss does not necessarily mean a person, because we grieve a lot of things and sometimes we forget that we grieve these things. It could be a sickness that came over you and changed your mental state, because I personally recently experienced that. My mental state kind of took a hit because of a sickness that had me down for a month, and I didn't handle it as well as I thought I could. But ultimately, by reminding myself daily and having people remind me of the light at the end of the tunnel, and when I outwardly express it to my friends, such as you, Kashi, it allowed me to go through that moment and realize that this is not it. I cannot die right here. I have to keep going. I have to push further. Because if I die right here, somebody's not going to get what they need from me.
Girl,
You better go.
You better say that.
Looking inwardly at yourself and allowing yourself to feel those emotions that we sometimes hide under and we don't allow to get out. So it's a really personal thing. So you're gonna have to be open to the moment and to the emotions that you feel in the moment.
Girl, you are preaching right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
And this question is for anybody. How do you be honest with yourself during that healing process? Because you know it's kind of hard to be honest. I said, how can you be honest with yourself during the healing process? Like, what steps do you take? Because you know a lot of times we won't be honest with ourselves.
That's true. That is true.
We are never honest with ourselves.
That's so true.
First thing, I did like 3-step process. One of the first steps is to understand that there's a problem. Honestly, you can't fix a problem if you don't realize that it's there. You can't fix your broken emotions if you don't realize that they're broken. You know? So realizing that the problem is there is the first thing. And then one of the next steps I would say would be to understand what that need is from that problem. Like, okay, I'm lashing out at everybody. What am I missing in my life that's causing me to do this? People I love and care about, people who love and care about me. Once you realize the problem and you understand what you may need, then you can work towards fixing the problem ultimately. And it's not, like I said before, it's not a quick, easy fix. It's something that requires time, patience, help from others, being able to open up to someone else. It just requires a lot out of you, but ultimately the goal at the end, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. When I finally talked to a counselor and I went to grief classes after my sister passed, it brought out emotions that I didn't know I had because I never cried. I didn't even cry at her funeral. And for some people, they were just shocked that I didn't cry, and I was the closest person to her in the room. But I didn't allow myself to feel in that moment because I was so busy planning it and doing this and doing that. Let me go to the store. Let me make sure this is done. Let me do that. Let me go back to the funeral.
Running from it.
But when I finally stopped and allowed myself to feel and realize that something is really wrong with me, I am hurting deeper than it shows on the outside, then that's when I realized that I need to do something about my pain.
Yes. And you had to get honest with yourself. You had to self-reflect. And that's a big part of it.
And I think sometimes, too, you have your own way of coping. So in that moment, it may not be the best time for you to cope with it. Mm-hmm. You know, because there was other stuff to do. And sometimes we'll shift into all of these other different areas in our lives. And sometimes we just set up some things that when we're ready, then we allow that to happen.
Yeah.
But sometimes we're not even ready to take on. Like I can't, I can because I have lost a sister, but in that regard, it's like sometimes you're not even ready to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so you have to allow yourself that time and space to be okay with like, okay, it's on the agenda, but I'm not totally ready today.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it may need to be a week or two, or it may need to be a month where I'm
And you're
actually
saying
ready.
it's okay to give yourself permission to do that. Like it's
To-
okay to.
Yeah, because you're not. It's sometimes if you're not ready to do it, then you're not going to get to me the full benefit of what you're trying to get.
So how do you know when you're ready?
Because usually you don't have a choice. Almost
Okay.
emotionally.
Yes,
It's like you just know something needs to happen because things are not moving in the way that they need to be moving. But I think that we all secretly kind of know when things are off.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
definitely.
so like whether we want
That's
to
an
admit it or
internal
not,
GPS.
we already know that there are some things that need to happen. We may not always know what to do to
Right.
make them happen,
Yeah.
but we always know that something is wrong.
Absolutely.
So I definitely agree with the 3-step process that she mentioned, you know, about being able to recognize and know, you know, see what you can get out of those things and being reflective and everything else. But I think that sometimes, you know, we have this idea of because it does look different for everybody,
Right.
then allowing that, okay, so yeah, you may have been the closest one in, you know, in the room, but it wasn't really your time. Because you were the closest, what you got to let go of is going to be a whole totally different process.
It's gonna be harder than what everybody else.
Yeah,
gotta
so
go
it may
through.
require
Yeah.
for you to just kind of shut it down for a minute and then just be in autopilot until you're ready to take autopilot off.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
be
that's good.
and be open to that. You know,
That's
we
good.
don't need to judge anybody's process. You know, because everybody's ends up being different.
Right.
And so, you know, but you do know, like you already know that, okay, yeah, it's gonna be one of these days where it's about to happen. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm gonna either need to talk to somebody, I'm gonna have a breakdown, I'm gonna do what have you.
Something
and-
is coming.
And just
Yeah.
being okay with allowing that instead of trying to keep it in.
right.
You know, because we know that, but we still sometimes try to keep it in because we don't want
But
to
you know, you at that little. You know, you
you
at
know
that
when you're at
breaking
that point. Oh, that
Yeah.
cliff
Breaking
right there.
Breaking
And I
point.
feel like some people try to hold back because they don't know what it's going to look
It's
like when
so
they actually
scary.
break.
I have chills right now just thinking about it. I have chills thinking about it because we've all been there, and the outcome could have been something totally different if we had not been in tune with it and said, "Okay, let me chill out for a minute. Let me sit down
I'm
for a
about to
second." Girl, let it out. Like you get to that point, like you know when you're about to break, and you know when it's just been too much. That's kind of like when you start really reaching out to people and saying, "Hey, I'm struggling. Like help lift me up or whatever." But you gotta be vulnerable enough to do that. You gotta acknowledge it, and stop worrying about if you're ready to do it or not, or stop worrying about how it's gonna feel, how people gonna look at you. Go through your process. Like it's okay. I'm still going through mine now. I know a lot of people look at me like, "Wow, you healed up great from your wreck." I still grieve about my son. I still grieve about this wreck because I can't do certain things anymore, and so I'm still dealing with that stuff. But as Lauren stated, as we all kind of said, like it's an ongoing process. But you find stuff to help you cope with it. So that's why I can laugh now. Like laughter is my thing. Like that's my thing to do. Like I just be cracking jokes all the time, goofing off, laughing. That's me. That's my thing to do to help me heal.
And that's definitely a healing. Whether you're smiling, laughing, you taking an herbal bath, you are sipping tea. Like just do
Yes.
something. Like Lauren said, do something you
Sage.
enjoy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Read you a good
clear out
book.
some stuff.
Read you a good book. Turn your favorite music on. Get you
Or
a candle.
even allow yourself to just sleep.
And do nothing.
Girl, sleep.
Let's talk about that though. Lauren, are you still there, girl?
Hello?
Yes,
Lauren?
I'm here.
Okay.
You guys are going out a little bit, but I'm listening.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You said allow yourself to just sleep.
Yes.
How many of y'all get to where y'all like, if I sleep or if I'm not like being productive or doing something, I'm not being productive. I'm not being a good person right now because I'm not necessarily. Hold on one second, y'all. Because I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm not doing good because I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm just sitting here sleeping. People be feeling guilty about getting rest. People feel guilty about getting
But
rest.
sleep
I
is
do
so
it, though.
therapeutic.
You say you get guilty? You feel guilty for getting rest sometimes? Lauren?
Sometimes I do. I usually do because I'm a go person. So in the moment, like for instance, when I was sick, I was still trying to be a go person. I was thinking I'm about to clean my closet out while I'm on bed rest.
Girl!
I can do it. You know, the sickness had me like almost on the floor. Like, I wasn't even able to be in the bed all the time. So I had to hardly move. I was in so much pain. So I had that mindset, and I know I told Tasha this, that I felt like I'm not able to do anything with my life. I just felt like nothing was going on. Like I was just wrong. Like it was just not right. It was just too much going on for me. But I'm used to being a go person. Like even with today being here, I kind of double booked myself a few times to do some things and make promises that they keep to everyone. And but I couldn't do everything. And getting kind of straight home from work and not even being able to rest after being at work from 7 o'clock this morning, I'm still going. Like I'm still in the car even now.
Oh wow.
So it's like I'm one of those people that's hard on myself for sleeping, because then I'll hear people say, like a guy will say to me, "Oh, you were asleep?" Like sleep is such a bad thing, and it makes me feel guilty sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm hard on myself about that.
And know that it's okay to tell people no.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we
I
say
gotta
yes,
learn
yes,
that.
yes, 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 and then people get mad when you say no.
I have to
It
learn
does
that.
not matter that they get mad, because you've done so many good things for people that you neglect yourself. So say no. Practice it in the mirror. No. Hell no. I ain't doing it.
that.
No, I ain't got it. All that.
I have to
Because
start doing that.
you start taking on other people's burdens, and then you have to heal from taking on other people's burdens.
Right.
So we have to get to the point where we're not letting other people's energy affect us too, and that's hard for me
And
too.
you gotta
Because
say
somebody
no.
put me in a bad mood, I'm just like, I ain't about to deal with you right now. I'm gonna cut you out. So you have
Or
to
you gonna
get to that
catch
point,
me hand.
or something like the lady that tried to touch my hair in the elevator.
Oh my girl, do we got a topic about that coming up?
We do.
Y'all, we got some stories for y'all, honey. But anyway.
Yeah, but
The
being
rest thing.
being mindful that we all, and I've been guilty too about that overexertion, that giving because we have always been taught to not necessarily. Well, I had somebody tell me you're supposed to give it to a hers. I think that's bull.
We have to what?
I hate that.
But we
What was I
hurt.
saying?
You give until it hurts. Like
Yeah.
people,
I ain't want to be hurting though.
yeah, but we are giving until we hurt.
Boom, she just got me together. Y'all saw that? Got me together.
Look over here.
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
like,
but,
oh.
like we are doing that. Like anytime we overextend, I am like could be like the poster child for it. Of just giving and giving and giving and not making sure that I was full. And that's the whole thing with everybody now. You got to be full first.
Yes, you
In order to give, and you give from such a much better place when you're full.
Who said it? Ayala Benz.
Ayala, Lisa Nichols,
You have to give
almost
your
everybody.
overflow.
Yeah.
So if they're saying this, and
Yes.
these are successful women
Yes.
who they doing well in life, if they're saying it, then okay, let me take heed to this. Depending on, especially if your goal is to become something similar, a counselor, a coach.
Mhm.
If you have some type of healing ability, take heed to what these people are saying. And when they're saying that serve from your overflow, that means your cup has to be full. Like you can't be trying to give. Let me see your water bottle real quick, sis. You can't do this. This water almost gone. This water is almost gone. But you trying to give this little bit you got left, but you ain't even all the way like your gas
Good
tank.
analogy. Good analogy.
That's how it be though. So
And then,
Go ahead, I'm
but just ask yourself the question of when you actually get rest, or when you take that vacation, or when you do something, just kind of chill for yourself.
yeah,
How damn productive are you afterwards?
super productive. Like you have to
I'm
give
tired. I
yourself
ain't
that
doing
time.
shit. I'm gonna let you know right now. I go
Yeah.
right on to work and not do nothing in the morning because I'm still asleep.
So
can't
that's
say
the
that
importance of that. That's the whole thing about being able to do that, because we have this thing like we need to keep going, but you do so much better when you rest.
You listening,
Right.
babe?
You do so much better. You don't exert half as much energy on stuff. Because your brain fresh, you just cool. Like I used to be, like when I was in school, I was the power nap queen. I can take a power nap for like 5 minutes so I can get my energy back before I go do
You
something
got
else.
to.
Whatever that is for you, but making sure that you honor yourself enough, that you value yourself more than you value all of these other people that you say yes to.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing. It's like when you really take time for you and value you, then the people that get mad, they're not on your team no way.
Hello?
Everybody
That's
else
the
who
word.
value you, they're gonna be
That's the
fine, and
word.
they're gonna understand your no. They're like, okay, cool, babe. Whatever you got, whenever
That's why
you're
I
ready.
love y'all.
You know,
Yes.
like whenever you're ready, just let me know because they will understand that.
Right.
So
Well, girl, the iPad acting crazy too.
Oh,
But we all good, you know.
and mine didn't even save us.
It's okay, you know.
Oh, man.
They're trying to stress us out with technology, but
Go
it's
back
all
on there. Can you
good.
get back live on your
Yeah, I sure can get back live
Oh,
on
man.
mine. It's okay. We didn't miss too much, and it's still recording over here on the laptop, so
Oh,
we just put the
cool.
replay up there. I'm always prepared.
Yes.
Try to be prepared.
different items.
We coming back, y'all. We had some technical
And I'm back,
difficulties.
y'all, and we back, y'all.
Yes, we had some technical difficulties, aka my phone went dead. Anyway, so we were just talking about rest and how we feel guilty about getting it, and Miss Penny was just saying how, like, and you were saying that y'all take power naps if you don't want to do something and you're not
Yeah, I
gonna
took
do
a
it.
nap before we went to the gym.
That's good. You
I was
know,
like-
rightfully so.
I was like, I'm tired.
And Sunday is my nap day. If I don't get a nap any other day of the week, like
Sunday.
Sunday is my official
One of my other
nap day.
sisters said that. She said that that's her day to nap. Okay, she was just tagging all of us in the video.
You can see, keep talking.
But yeah, that resting thing, we all can do better with that. Like next time you find yourself getting tired, because your body know what your body needs. Like you know that. So if you feeling tired, you feeling like you need to rest, do that.
Like, what's something y'all do? Like, because I know, like Lauren said, I like to draw and stuff too. Y'all see, I was on a drawing frenzy
Yes.
not too long ago. And we also did drawing at the retreat.
We
You want to
did.
talk about the retreat?
We did. Oh my gosh, that retreat was everything. And I know a lot of people hit me up and was like, "Well, why didn't I know about it? When y'all doing another one?" And I was like, "Okay, this was just kind of like, okay, let's see how this goes and let's see if this will actually benefit people if we do it." And you presented the idea to me shortly after I was released from rehab and like physical therapy. And at first I was thinking like, no, man, ain't nobody, not with me coming out of this season, definitely not. And then I got to thinking and I was like, yes, because it's not just, we all feeding each other this weekend. And that goes back to serving from your overflow. If there's a balance and you're serving and receiving, go for it. And I think that was the main thing for the retreat. It was great. It was great. We had people come from all the way from Virginia down to the beach, and it was just a beautiful experience to just take those masks off. We sat at the beach and did a meditation. It just felt good to take that mask off, be free, not worry about no judgment. We cooked together, we laughed together, we cried a few times. It was like and I'm getting chills now just thinking about it because everybody had an impact on me. Everybody that was there, like, and just seeing how we had to maneuver through certain situations, and it was just a beautiful experience just to have that sisterhood. Everybody got along. There was no beefing. Nobody argued. It was like perfect. It was perfect to me.
And we went vegan for about 3
We had a
hours.
couple vegan meals. We had a couple vegan meals. We let everybody put their little 1-2-1-2 into it, and we just had a great time. And I suggest that men and women do that. Like, get together with, and it don't have to be like, you can make it a family thing. If you have brothers and your dad or your granddad or your cousins that are men or women, your sons, your daughters, do those retreats and travel and
Get to a happy place.
get centered again. Get centered again.
I think a lot of people need to find their happy place. They need to find out what it is. And then when you feel yourself drifting away or you feel yourself getting to that
Go
angry
back
spot,
there.
just go there.
Yeah. Go
Like,
back there.
even if you bring me, I'm a collector of seashells and rocks.
Yeah.
So I always have that stuff around me. I love the beach, so I always have stuff that reminds me of the beach around me. So that helps me when I feel myself getting to that place.
I think that's what helps me too. What helps you, Miss Penny?
Writing.
Writing. Okay. Tell us about your thing you did this weekend if you don't mind sharing.
I don't mind sharing. And I'm still taking it in myself. Like I did a poetry thing. I've done one before where, yes, I promoted myself to do my own poetry and did my own stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it was me writing about various things. So it was so therapeutic. for me to do that. So that is like, I was the hostess with the mustache.
Yes.
No, but to share in that way, to just kind of use your voice in that way, for me to get out of the counseling hat and be Latricia Penny from Detroit, you know, like that person.
Big time.
Yeah, you know, just to get in touch with that part of myself, and what I started realizing, and what's been showing up for me is, it was a beautiful healing experience for me. Like, I left feeling lighter.
Oh.
So for me to tap into my writing in that way and share it in that way, it really wasn't, you know, it was cool that people were there, but it was also cool that I got that out.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that is for you,
Yeah.
you know, that, like I said, I'm still taking the experience in, because it was a phenomenal experience, and it was some very wonderful people who showed up, people I knew, people I didn't know. And it was just really cool to tap into this other part of myself, because we all have these different parts of ourselves that when we tap into it, you just automatically feel the healing energy of what you're doing.
Create so much magic. You create a lot of magic.
Oh my gosh. And then what happens is, what I'm also noticing is, the energy of you honoring yourself in that way will continue to bring back to you things.
That cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just had that conversation with my other half last night. The same exact conversation. Lauren, are you still there, girl?
Yes, I'm here.
What about you? I know you named a few things that you did, but when you feel yourself going to that place,
The
like
sound
that,
is going out, so speak up a little bit.
can you hear me now? Can you hear us?
I hear you now.
Okay, I was just asking, like, when
Yeah, I can hear you.
okay, when you get to that place, where you feel like, okay, I'm finna feel like I'm drowning. What do you do? Like, what does your mind go to, or how do you shift those emotions while still honoring them, of course? But how do you shift and do those things that you said help you heal or help you with your healing process?
Honestly, as weird as it sounds, the first thing I do is drown myself in those feelings. I do that because, and this is straight personal, I let myself fall into that moment because I know I'm going to get out of it. And this is what I tell my little sister all the time. If you don't let yourself kind of break down and be human, you're going to turn into like a superhuman, and then your breakdown is going to be worse than ever. And I know how I am. So I allow myself to break down, but when I'm done breaking down and done being my little human self, I wipe my tears and I make a plan to get my life together and get myself together and get my mind right.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything wrong with breaking down as long as you know that, okay, I thought I wanted these tears, so I ain't gonna do about this thing right now. I mean, not talking about like grief or anything, but I mean just whatever could be weighing down beyond that. I'm not going to do this thing over and over again because my tears aren't going to solve anything. You're not going to get anything done crying. So I try not to do that too much. But I have to let myself go to that human place inside of me. You have to, in my opinion. No one's a superhero, even though I wear a cape on occasion.
Yeah, you do, girl. You did this weekend.
Well, that was dope. Well, we're coming to the end of the More About Something podcast.
So good.
So, if anyone would like to offer a final word to our listeners, feel free.
Would you like to go first, Miss Penny? Any final words? Any advice that you want to give the people that they can carry with them on their healing journey?
Experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really experience. Like she said, she falls into her feelings. Like, experience all of it. But it doesn't have to be just the stuff that's uncomfortable. Really fully experience everything. So the laughter, the joy, the peace, you know, when you're full, what does that feel like? Mm-hmm. Like, just really take time to experience life.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Lauren, you have any final words? Any advice you want to leave our viewers with or our listeners with?
Just one thing. Just know that, like I said earlier, healing is not the exact thing for everybody. And no matter what you're dealing with or going through, seek some help. Get some help, whether you see that as spiritual, counseling, therapy, even psychiatry, if that's the way that you need to go. Don't feel ashamed for needing help with something that beyond you, because ultimately we're all human. So if you need help, reach out to someone that you trust and do something about it. So that's what I got.
Thank y'all so much. I just want to say that, I mean, kind of like what they said, go through it. Go through it, grow through it. Don't be afraid of it. It's nothing to be scared of. Just allow it. Just allow it, but don't stay stuck in it. Don't stay stuck in it. I mean, it might go like this, up and down, up and down, but don't let it stay here. Don't let it stay there at that space. Have some of these too. So that's my final order. And I love y'all, of course.
My final word is just to love yourself through it. We're so hard on ourselves and we don't give ourselves a second chance.
Yes.
So just love on yourself, even if don't nobody else love you, which I'm sure somebody else does, and you may not know it or you may know it. Just love on yourself, because we're so crucial to ourselves and we're our biggest critic. So just take that time and say, I love you. Like you gave us mirrors at the retreat. Look in that mirror and say, I love you.
I did it this morning. Girl, I use that mirror every morning. And I just do that activity that you had us do. Every morning, girl. So thank you. Thank you for that. This was great. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We love y'all. We're going to tag all of the guests and our social media names. We're going to tag those in the comments. We love y'all, and we will see y'all next week.
And this is the More About Something podcast.
Yes,
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No
I can't turn
problem.
my wrist. I'm trying to do deuces stuff.
So all previous recordings can be found on Facebook. If you want to see the live videos, if you want to just listen to the podcast, you can go on YouTube or our channel, the More About Something podcast.
Listen to it on y'all ride to work, Penny. I'm going to listen to it on my ride to work tomorrow. I'm going to go back and listen to our own podcast for work tomorrow.
I mean, that's what you got to do sometimes.
Okay,
Like, you got to go back and hear yourself.
All right, guys. We love y'all. We will catch y'all next week.
All right, deuces.
Bye, y'all. Dang, people joining. Y'all. Bye, Lauren. We love you, girl. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
No problem.
We love you, girl. All right.
Love y'all too.
Hey, it's a vibe. Y'all trying to see my ratchet side? You cut it off just in time, girl, because they was finna get this ratchet. Girl, they was about to get this ratchet.